to welcome you all to the third workshop of OctWave 3.0. We are excited to have you with us as we continue our journey into the world of artificial intelligence and machine learning. With the preliminary knowledge, Kaggle challenged us to surround the corner. Today's session will help you understand how Kaggle competitions work and how you can confidently get started with them. Without further delay, let's move on to today's session. It is my
Hi.
privilege to
Yeah.
introduce
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, go on.
Yes, it's my privilege to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Chandima Ekanayaka. Mr. Chandima is a software engineer at Cisco Lab Sri Lanka and holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science Engineering from the University of Moratuwa. He has experience in software design, software infrastructure engineering, programming, and the software industry, giving him a strong technical background in developing and working with software systems. Today, he will be sharing his knowledge and practical insights on getting started with Kaggle competitions, helping us understand how to navigate Kaggle and get started with machine learning competitions. We are delighted to have him with us today. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Chandima Ekanayaka. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So, and thank you for the generous introduction as well. So, okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, the purpose of today's session is to basically give you an understanding on Kaggle. So, what Kaggle is. So, uh, those who may not have worked much on Kaggle, and so this introduction is for you. Okay, so let's proceed. So what is Kaggle? So this is the question that we'll be answering today. Okay, so first of all, before we go into what it is about, first of all, can I get a confirmation if you guys can hear me okay, or is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Okay, so first we'll start with the obvious, the signing up. So you can either sign up with the email as usual, or I'll just recommend go with the Google. So since I'm already there, we can sign it in and have a first look at Kaggle, and then we can start a discussion on what it is. So uh, I hope that you guys have some sort of a working experience on Jupyter notebooks and stuff. Since okay, those of you who are here are obviously those who are interested in data science and possibly entering a Kaggle competition. So I guess you'll be familiar with GitHub and Jupyter notebooks, the Google Colab, and things like that. So if you are, then this is quite an easy thing to understand. The reason being, so Kaggle is owned by Google. Okay, so the way you think about this is basically a cloud platform, uh, like the highly purposed for data engineering. So that is it. So the thing is, you can create a notebook same as Google Colab, and this will be running on a remote server within Google. So you'll have CPUs, GPUs, as well what do you call the TMUs, the tensor flows. So each is specialized for the data science computing. So either way, same as the Google Colab, you can do your stuff here. So same as a Jupyter notebook. Okay, so that is the basic introduction into what Kaggle is. And combining with that, the what makes Kaggle kind of interesting is rather than a simple Google Colab, you have a combination of GitHub, a platform for competitions and things like that. So this is basically a place where you can interact with people who are working on similar data science problems and like basically identify how to say uh, research on the ideas and keep on working. So we'll go through the high level workflow and what it is. So as I showed you before, if you're going to work on something, then obviously you can create a notebook of your own, and then the competitions, the hackathons, things like that. So you can see them as well. So I'll come to competitions last. So first I'll go take you through the what the other things are. So if you go to Data Hub, you'll see data sets. So this is what's kind of interesting about Kaggle. actually. So like you guys, there are a lot of people around the world who are very interested in research on data science, and they try to solve the real life problems in ways that they think fit. And in order to do that, so obviously you guys know, so the whole point of data science is you need to have data sets, because like you take it might be data that's coming off of sensors or applications from real life users. It depends, but overall, it'll be billions and billions of data. And once that raw data is there, it's up to us, the data scientist, the people who are interested in data science, in order to convert this into a data set, which is basically a set of data that you have fine-tuned and cleaned, and it's almost information now because like you made it so. So once you get up to that point, that data set, a collection of data, a pre-processed set of data that a data scientist can use to derive real world insights, that that means a lot. That's a huge valuable thing. So once you get up to that point, what Kaggle is basically for is to share those data sets with the community. So what you see here is data sets that's been shared by the other people like you. So, for example, you can say, let's take something interesting, maybe Spotify. Okay, then you'll see that the analysis data, things like that. See, those data sets are here as well. So just like this, you can consume many of these data sets as well in your researches and the ideas that you have, as well as you can create the data sets and push it into Kaggle as well, so that the community can take use of it. And then the same as that, you can create models. Using the data sets, you can train models to derive the insights out of them, basically, right? So it might be text processing, image processing, the Hugging Face models, whatever, whatever. So you can find already trained and models and stuff that people already tried within this page, as well as you can push yours here as well. So same goes with the code. So this is the GitHub section of the what I was telling you about. Basically, on the data science, Kaggle serves as a platform where people can share each other's repositories or the trained models and the data sets and the code. So this basically functions as a repository as well on its own. And then if you have a question, you can go into this discussion level, and you'll see questions and answers and others as well. And each thread, whatever question you have, you can just post it here, and you can answer it to anyone else's problem as well. So this basically serves as a platform where people can interactively grow together. So that's another specialty of Kaggle. And then comes the learn. So on the learn, you'll see tons and tons of courses and stuff that you can have uh, how to say, a hands-on experience following it, and then growing your understanding as well. So yeah, on Kaggle, this is the high-level introduction on what it does and what it provides for you. So now we come into what this today's session is mainly about, competitions. So if you go into this competition section, now you'll see tons and tons of competitions hosted by different people. They might be Google, it might be different industries, the research groups, the universities, all you can think about. So this is the most prominent place where people host data science competitions. So as you can see, some competitions even offers you prizes as well. So okay, let's try something and just give you guys an okay. We're gonna see. Okay, let's go try something. So once you go into a competition, okay, let's choose something else a little bit simpler. Mm, okay, so much better. So when you go into competition, this is what I need you to keep your focus on. So once you get into the competition, the first tab you'll see is the overview section. So this is the fundamentally the the most important section of the competition, because like this describes to you what the competition is. So in this case, it's LLM classification fine tuning. But other than that, you need to go over the overview with uttermost, how to say, the attention, just so you understand the problem statement correctly. Because the thing is this, in data science, you have a set of raw data, and this set of raw data in itself is a problem statement, because like you need to look at them and see, okay, what does this data mean? What I can extract from it? Like what does this mean in real life context? That's the bridging point, right? In like in the byte context, data is just data. But when you map it to the real life scenarios, the real world scenarios, now you have a connection between, because you already know how the real world connections are there. And using that, you can model the relationships between the data as well. Okay. So in order to do this accurately, you need to understand what is this problem statement about. And the overview section basically takes you through that. So so you go through the description and it'll guide you through, okay, what is this about, and the whole context around it. And then it will bring you to the vital section, which is evaluation, the evaluation matrix. So the whole point behind Kaggle competition is, since we are dealing with data anyways, okay, so as you guys might already know, but if you do not, I'll give a high level understanding. So the thing is this, okay, you have a set of data and you need to train a model, something in between, that takes in that data and derive some real world insights out of it. It might be statistics, it might be whatever it is. The output needs to have a real world impact. So how these competitions work is, you take the whole data set and you divide it into a training data set. You already know, or in almost all the cases, the people who host the competition, they already know what the end result should be, right? So they give you a training data set and you create a model for that, and you train a model and you experiment with it. And what happens is, and with the training data set that you already have, you can have an understanding on like how well your model works, and how the way you check that, the way you measure that is using the evaluation matrix. So depending on the competition, depending on the task, the evaluation matrix will be different. Sometimes it might be a fun score, sometimes it might be a little bit more vague, but the point being, you can have the training data set you have. And my advice is, like, rather than using the entire data set for the entire process, like keep a subsection for it, of it, and then using the evaluation matrix, test it out. Okay. And but the thing is, on the final how to say, on the final level, your model will be executing against a data set that you would not see. Yeah, that's hidden from you, ideally. So that's why they give you a training data set, and take that training data set and understand the context, and most importantly the evaluation matrix, because this is what decides the leaderboard, as well as like how much the basically the measuring unit that you have to verify how much your model is working on the given question. So pay special attention to this part, and then start the task. And then on the next tab, you'll see the data. So here, the competition holders will be providing you with the data that you'll be needing to uh, train the model and verify the model. So that section is over here. And on the code, again, you might be able to see that it depends on the people who host it. But again, on a general competition here, you might be able to see what other people are working on this relevant competition, like what are the models they are using, because like this is not a competition per se. This is like a opportunity for you guys to like interact with the others who are working on the same problem, who are in the same interest. If you guys see here, like everyone is working together, and you can look at their solutions, the questions they had, you can answer for their questions, you can post your questions online, this and that. Same way, if you go into models, ideally on on the open competitions, you'll be able to see the models that other guys are using as well. So you can basically go have an understanding and grow with it. And then on the discussion session, you might be able to ask questions, and you might be able to answer the paper's questions. So keep that in mind as well. And now comes the leaderboard. So we talked about the evaluation matrix, right? So depending on the task, your model will be evaluated against the data, and then it will decide who comes up on the leaderboard. Okay, so this is where you can have a track on, like, just for the sake of motivation, as well as since it is a competition anyways, you'll be able to track where you are from here. And then the other part that you need to pay special attention to is the rules section on a competition, because this will determine whether you win or lose, basically. So there might be rules that are hidden in like there, like as in the submission caps, like how much submissions you can make, or the models that you can use, or in the final submission, what are the things that you must do in order to qualify, as well as like some might say, okay, you need to submit a report with the trend model, or the end data set, whatever. So pay special attention to rule section as well. So then comes the teams. So on the team, you should be able to give a team name for you all, and then you should be able to invite your members as well. So you can just find them here and add them into your team, and they'll be requested as well. And if you're the admin, in the middle of the competition, even you might be able to edit and change who's on your team as well. So there might be caps on how many people you can take in, but that's that. So this is basically on how to handle your team. So keep that in mind, because like this team will be representing you and the submission that you make. So, and then comes the submission. So since we have not made any submissions for this competition, it shows none. But once you make submissions, they'll come up here, and most probably there'll be a submission cap for you guys. Okay. So on the competitions, there's a high level architecture of the whole thing. So you guys know what you're working into. Okay. So that's basically it on a high level. And so as I'm aware of, you guys will be participating on a private Kaggle competition. So which means you might be shared in most probably with an invitation link or a URL. So upon clicking, you will come to see a competition just like this. So you land in somewhere just like this, in some competition. Okay, so once you're there, your obvious first task would be to create the team, and then once you're done with the creating the team, and then you'll need to go through the overview sections and identify the problem statement, and then go through the evaluation matrix and see how it is being evaluated and what you need to do or optimize your code or the model in order to meet the maximum marks through that evaluation matrix, maybe a F1 score, whatever. And then make sure to follow the rule section as well. Okay, so I'll show you one last thing as well. So this account is new, so I don't have any already made submissions to show you guys, but I found this kind of a demo. So this is a machine learning course. Basically, you can go into learn, and a ton of stuff there again. And on the introduction to machine learning, you'll see on the last task, you can actually do a submission. So you'll go to create a submission, and okay, let's give it a second. So this is your working environment basically. So you'll be working it here, and so these are sample answer and the versions. Okay, we'll go section by section. So when you're doing the section, you ideally will be either adding code sections or the markdown sections. So the markdown sections are basically for some things like this. So explanations that given the context, because whoever is going through your notebook should be able to understand, okay, what you're thinking about, and then it should be followed by a code section. So that's the ideal way. So once you have the solution like that, you'll be running it one by one, or you'll be running it all, and you'll be getting the insight just like this. You take the data and you see the outputs, and then you follow a next step, so on and so forth. And once that is done, what you'll be doing is basically saving the version. Okay, so let's do some update, something like that, and then save the version, and then it'll be the next version for whichever that you have right now. Okay, now, yeah, you see, before it's being saved, like it'll run against the data set, and if it passes, it'll be saved. So that way you have a way of knowing if your model works or not as well. So this is the version 4. Okay. So once that is done, you have a working version that you're satisfied with, and then you decide whether or not to submit that version to the competition or not. So let's say, okay, I'm happy with the version 3, and I'm gonna submit it to the competition. So you get there, submit to competition. I hope you guys saw that. So you go to submit into competition, and then you give the description, whatever, and then you submit it. So that's basically the workflow you'll be following on a high level. Obviously, with the way the competition is set up, there might be a little bit of changes, but on a high level, this is it. So I guess that's the high level understanding that you guys need to uh, have in order to be familiarized with the Kaggle platform. So obviously you should go into Kaggle and play around with it and see what's going on in there and have some hands-on experience, because like otherwise when the competition starts, you will be figuring things out and you will fall behind. So my recommendation is try it beforehand. Okay, so this is on a high level what Kaggle is about, and about the competition that you guys are gonna have. Uh, what I have to tell you is basically this. So when you get the question, your focus should not be about, okay, what is the fancy algorithm that I'm going to use? Is it a neural network? Is it a decision tree or whatever, whatever? Like, that's not the place you start. You look at the data set and you see, okay, the first process would be to ideally, you need to clean the data set. You need to pre-process it because there's going to be incomplete data, the faulty data, the outliers and things like that. So you need to clean your data set. And then you need to find, okay, what are the faulty data that's in your data set? So, but before you come to this, so this is way before you start thinking about what algorithm you're going to use as well, right? So what you need to think about is, what is this data about? Where is this data coming from? And how does this data relate to a real life situation, a real life scenario? And then you need to think about, okay, what is the problem then? And then only you'll be able to map, okay, what is the problem and how can I try to understand the solution to this problem using the data that I have. And then only you are in a place that you can think about, okay, what is the algorithm that I'm going to use for it? Is it going to be a decision tree? Is it going to be uh, a deep learning network or neural network or something? So that's the way you should be thinking about it. And so yeah, the obvious step would be pre-process the data, that's a fact, and then you need to feature engineer the data set. You need to have a look at the data set and identify uh, what those data maps into in real life, which in another sense you call feature engineering. You identify the features within data, and then would come the class imbalances, where you need to find the class imbalances because like it might be on uh, a highest possibility of fraud style problem. So there might be fraudulent cases within the data, but it will be way less than the normal number rows of data. So a model would would achieve high accuracy by predicting that all of the data is not fraudulent. So you can't rely on the accuracy in that sense. So you need to be smart and identify the fraudulent cases and then move forward with it. So On the evaluation matrix, it on most of the cases it might be a fun score, so you need to have your understanding about precision and recall and things like that. So, and how does this come into work? So it's vital that you go in this overview section and have a solid understanding about what, in the end, what is the evaluation matrix that your solution model is going to flow through, so that you can score much better. Uh, so yeah, all in all, that's what I have to give you an high-level introduction on what Kaggle is and how to navigate the platform and how to join a competition and make a submission, and in general how to look at a competition or how to look at a problem and make your way to a possible solution. So yeah, that's about it. Any questions? Yes. Okay, nice. I hope that made sense. So overall, go to Kaggle, create account before the competition ideally, play around with it, try the forums, try the competition that they have, and you'll find a lot on the learning section as well. So the whole point of this is to not compete against each other, is to like see how other people are approaching the problems and help them out and post your questions here, learn, and this is basically a community of people who are interested in data and what you can make out of data. So I guess that's who you are as well, since you are already here interested about this. So play around with it and you'll find it is so interesting, and stick with it. That's basically it. Okay, guys, I guess we can wrap it up. Ranisha, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chandima, for that insightful and informative session. I'm sure everyone now has a better understanding of how to approach Kaggle competitions and how to get started with the platform. Once again, on behalf of the IEEE IAS Student Branch Chapter, University of Moratuwa, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Chandima Ekanayaka for taking the time to be with us today and for sharing his valuable knowledge and experience. Your insights have given our participants a better understanding of Kaggle competitions and will certainly help them approach the OctWave 3.0 preliminary round with greater confidence. Please accept this virtual token of appreciation displayed on the screen as a symbol of our heartfelt appreciation. To all the participants, thank you for joining us and making this session a success. We hope today's workshop has given you the confidence and knowledge needed to take on the upcoming Kaggle challenge. We wish all the participants the very best for the preliminary round of OctWave 3.0. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing your innovative solutions. Stay connected through our official communication channels for further updates on the competition. Have a wonderful evening, stay safe, and thank you everyone.